Very much, Jamie. At the Pentagon, Iraq, many experts believe, will be the key issue voters will consider as they vote in the midterm elections, now less than 4 weeks away. And part of both parties' strategies is to try to convince you that you'd be better off with them in control. Joining us from Cleveland, the former Democratic Senator Max Cleland of Georgia. Here in our D.C. Bureau, Terry Jeffrey. He's the editor of Human Events. Thanks very much to both of you for coming in. Senator Cleland, the President of the United States was very forceful yesterday in depicting you and other Democrats as being a party, in his words, of cut and run. Listen to what he said.
When you pull out before the job is done, that's cut and run, as far as I'm concerned. And that's cut and run as far as most Americans are concerned. And so, yeah, I'm going to continue reminding them of their words and their votes.
But other Republican strategists are saying they're going to try to do to other Democrats what they did to you when you lost your bid for re-election in Georgia. What do you make of this Republican strategy?
Well, first of all, I'd like to remind the American people and the president that he cut and ran from Vietnam. So did his vice president. I mean, they cut and ran from Osama bin Laden. They're cutting and running from America's veterans. They spend $8 billion a month in Iraq and underfund the VA by $6 billion a year, according to the Congressional Budget Office. So this cut and run stuff is just bumper sticker stuff. It is not a plan to win. It is certainly not an exit strategy. So we have 140,000 troops on the ground getting blown up and shot in a civil war. It's time to redeploy them, bring our Guard and Reserve home to guard our own borders and go after Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. It's still Al-Qaeda stupid. And that's what the president doesn't get.
You know, a lot of Americans agree with the Senator Terry. In our most recent CNN poll, we asked if you favor or oppose the U.S. war in Iraq. Look at this. 32% say they favor it. 62% say they oppose it. That's the lowest number of support for the war since we've been conducting these polls over the past 3.5 years.
Well, Wolf, I agree with Senator Cleland that cut and run can become a bumper sticker, and it's really not going to be helpful for Republicans. But the truth is that a lot of Democrats, like Senator Cleland, voted to authorize this war. And now we have both a moral responsibility and a responsibility to our national interests to make sure that in the way we get out of the Iraq war, we don't entail greater consequences than we are suffering right now. So I think it is a good strategy for the president and the other Republicans to point out that the Democrats are not presenting a realistic, viable alternative for getting out of Iraq without bringing on
What is a realistic, viable alternative, Senator?
Get out, redeploy, take care of our own troops. I mean, I think that's what we're talking about here. We do not have a plan to win. Well, that's not. Stay the course is no strategy. It is no strategy to win. It is no strategy to exit. We're just getting kids blown up. We've lost 2,700 kids over there. We've got 20,000 wounded, 10,000 wounded for life, maimed for life, and it's time to end this thing. Now, the Iraqis are going to settle their differences one way or the other. They've been at this for 5,000 years. Let them have it. And it is not our 51st state. We got to take care of our country. We got to bring the Guard and Reserve home to take care of our country. We got to focus our active forces, covertly and overtly, on killing or capturing Osama bin Laden and his terrorist cadre. They are the real threats to America right now.
But Wolf, what Senator Cleland is not dealing with is the potential consequences of withdrawing U.S. troops from Iraq now. How are we going to prevent a civil war? The problem we've had over the summer there is an intensification of sectarian violence between Sunni and Shia. You have Iranian-backed and armed Shia militia there. You have Sunni insurgents who don't want to give up the fight. How is Senator Cleland going to stop, if he removes our troops from Iraq, Shiite civil war from breaking out all down the Persian Gulf?
If people don't understand that there's a civil war going on there and more than 100 Iraqis dying every day, and that 3 out of 5 Iraqis want to kill Americans, then I can't make this point any more clearly. It is time to redeploy our forces from Iraq and bring them home and refocus on the real enemy.
Hold on, Terry, because there's another poll I want to show. This may be even more worrisome to Republicans right now. Who's doing a better job in fighting terrorism? Back in September, the Republicans had a 47-41 advantage on that issue. But in our most recent numbers right now, the Democrats get 45%, the Republicans get 40%. This was supposed to be the rallying cry for Republicans, but in this poll, the Democrats are doing a better job.
Well, it is very bad news for the Republicans politically. There's no doubt about it, Wolf. But voters should remember the Democrats tried to stall the Patriot Act. Many Democrats have opposed intercepting international communications of al-Qaeda in and out of the United States. They've objected to military tribunal for terrorists that we have detained. So I think on the merits, the Republicans have the high ground. They've lost the political high ground. I think that in large part is fallout from the public dissatisfaction with the course of the war in Iraq. I believe were not for the public dissatisfaction with what's going on in Iraq, the Democrats would have no chance at this time of winning in November. However, now I think they have a very real chance of doing it.
You want to respond, Senator?
If a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his rear end. I mean, this has been a disaster for the country, not just for the Republicans. We're 4 years into this war. We've lost a lot of fine young Americans there. It's time to redeploy our forces and bring the Guard and Reserve home and refocus on the real enemy. It is al-Qaeda stupid, and this crash in New York should just remind us that it's been 5 years since 9/11. And if we don't get it now, that it's al-Qaeda stupid, we should be
Hold on, Terry, hold on. We're almost out of time, but a final question for you, Senator. What advice do you have for your fellow Democrats who may be in tough battles right now to avoid what happened to you when you sought re-election?
Fight back. Fight like hell. That's exactly what a lot of them are doing. That's what all of them are doing, especially the fighting Dems out there.
Max Cleland, Terry Jeffrey joining me earlier, and as we head into the crucial